September 11th, 2001. For so many of us, that date has become synonymous with unimaginable loss, fear, and heroism. The images of smoke-filled skies, ash-covered streets, and first responders racing against time are seared into memory. But amidst the chaos, beneath the sirens and debris, there were quieter stories. Stories of paws and whiskers, wagging tails and worried eyes, of pets left alone in evacuated apartments near Ground Zero, waiting, hoping, and the people who refused to let them be forgotten. When the Twin Towers collapsed, the devastation extended far beyond the towering buildings. Thousands of residents in Lower Manhattan were forced to flee their homes, leaving behind photographs, family heirlooms, and pets. Dogs barking from balconies, cats huddled under beds, terrified by the shaking. Birds in cages, chirping through the muffled quiet of abandonment. No one could have predicted the scale of destruction or how long they'd be gone. But for many, one of the greatest heartaches of that day wasn't just their own fear, but the knowledge of leaving behind another soul who depended on them. And then came hope. Among the unflinching courage of first responders were unsung heroes, the firefighters, police officers, and volunteers who didn't just search for human lives, but climbed through crumbling buildings and smoke-filled apartments to rescue pets. These heroes understood that, for many, losing a pet would be one loss too many, in a time already fractured by grief. Take the story of Rosie, a golden retriever trapped in an apartment, just a few blocks from Ground Zero. Her owner, a nurse, had been called away to help with the emergency, unable to return home for days. Rosie, scared and alone, had pawed open a window for air. When rescuers reached her, she was shaking, but unharmed. The moment her owner was reunited with her days later brought tears to those who witnessed it. It was as if Rosie understood the magnitude of the hardship, and in her wagging tail, her kisses, she offered healing. Can you imagine that kind of reunion? Of holding a creature that had unwaveringly waited for you, despite the fear and darkness? Emergency animal shelters sprang up in impromptu spaces. Church basements, recreational centers, even semi-trucks. Volunteers worked tirelessly around the clock. They didn't simply provide shelter, they provided hope. Rows of kennels filled with barking, meowing reminders that love could persist, even in the face of unfathomable destruction. Many of the displaced animals were reunited with their families. For those who couldn't, foster care networks began forming. But it wasn't just family pets who played a role in this incredible story. Service dogs were frontline heroes. These loyal canines worked tirelessly by the sides of their handlers, searching for survivors amidst the rubble, guiding the blind through evacuation routes, and offering their steadfast presence as emotional support to those engulfed by trauma. Dogs like Sirius, an explosives detection dog stationed at the World Trade Center, who gave his life in service. His story reminds us that animals weren't just passive victims of the tragedy. They showed up, embodying bravery and dedication in ways humans could only admire. For every animal rescued, there was a human story intertwined, of courage, love, and the unspoken promise every pet owner makes to their furry friend. I'll protect you, no matter what. In the days after 9/11, that promise became a driving force behind hundreds of rescues. Can you imagine firefighters carrying not just hose lines, but also tiny kittens, cupped gently in soot-covered hands, volunteers walking with trembling greyhounds covered in ash, wrapping them in blankets as they guided them to safety? Max, the cockatiel, found in a closet after days without food. Cleo, the cat nourished back to health by a rescue worker who refused to give up. These heroes, both human and animal, showed us that in our darkest hours, compassion shines brightest. They remind us that the human-animal bond is unbreakable, that a wagging tail, a purr, or a gentle chirp can cut through even the heaviest grief. So today, as we reflect on the courage and loss that defined that day, let's also remember the animals who waited and the people who saved them. Their stories remind us why we must continue to be a voice for the voiceless, a hand reaching out to the paw, claw, or wing when it's most needed. Before we go, we want to hear from you. Do you remember where you were that day? Has an animal ever lifted you or someone you love out of a dark time? Share your story in the comments below. We know they'll inspire someone else. And if this story resonated with you, please consider subscribing to Animal Affection Hub. This is where we honor the incredible bond between humans and animals, where love and courage are celebrated every single day. Together, we can keep these stories alive. And finally, let's not forget, hug your pets a little closer tonight. They would do the same for you.